Hello, welcome to another charity shop book haul. My name is Daniela and I'm just going to dive straight in and show you what I picked up. I managed to find a copy of And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini. This is the author of The Kite Runner and A Thousand Splendid Suns. This book follows the journey of two siblings. It says, crossing generations and continents, moving from Kabul to Paris to San Francisco to Greek island of Tinos, Khaled Hosseini writes about the bonds that define us and shape our lives. With profound wisdom, depth, insight and compassion, he explores the ways in which we help our loved ones in need, how the choices we make resonate through history, and how we are often surprised by the people closest to us. I'm pretty sure I only paid £1 for this one. It's a nice hardback. Next up, I picked up The Daylight Gate by Jeanette Winterson. This one is apparently a gothic read. It says, the forest of Pendle used to be a hunting ground, but some say that the hill is the hunter, alive in its black and green coat cropped like an animal pelt. Good Friday, 1612. Two notorious witches await trial and certain death in Lancaster Castle, whilst a small group gathers in secret protest. Into the group, the self-made Alice Nutter stakes her claim and swears to fight against the rule of fear. But what is Alice's connection to these witches? What is the magic if not power? And what will happen to the women who possess it? Again, great cover, caught my eye, and I just liked the sound of this one. And I paid 50p for this. I already own The Flatshare by Beth Leary, so I picked up a copy of The Road Trip by Beth Leary. It says 1 car, 5 people, and a whole lot of history. This is a romance book. It says Addie and her sister are on an epic road trip to a friend's wedding in rural Scotland, but not long after setting off, a car slams into theirs. The driver is none other than Addie's ex, who she hasn't seen since their traumatic breakup 2 years earlier. Dylan and his best mate are heading to the wedding too, so Addie has no choice but to offer them a ride, and with 400 miles to go, they can't avoid confronting the very messy history of their relationship. Will they make it to the wedding? And more importantly, is this really the end of the road for Addie and Dylan? So this one again was 50p. The next book I picked up, I read a library copy of this. I've been wanting a physical copy of this, and the second book is due out and I cannot wait, and It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I was so excited when I saw this one, and this cost me £1. It's in really good condition, super happy with it. I absolutely love this book. I give it 5 stars. It is a romance book. If you have triggers, do check the warnings before picking this one up, and if you don't, I would say dive right in, don't read anything about it, and enjoy the ride. Next up, we have a selection of books from a couple of Oxon bookshops. Oxon bookshops are amazing. They always have such a great selection. They are a bit on the pricier side though, but if you're struggling to find certain books or you've been looking for a long time and haven't been able to find them, I recommend checking out Oxon bookshops. The first fantasy book that we managed to find was The Call of the Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. Again, one that I've heard lots of mixed things about. Some people love it, some people hate it. Don't know how I'm gonna feel, but this is the second in the series, and this one cost us £4.99. A little bit pricier for this one, but it is in very good condition. Next up, super happy about finding this. Found a copy of The Poppy Walk by R.F. Kuang. This one was £3.99. I've been aware of this series since I first got back into reading, and I'd say it's taken us about 10-11 months to find a copy of this. I'm guessing not many people give these up if they have them, so super happy about that. I have only heard good things about this book. I am very excited to get to read this book. This is the first in a trilogy, so I have 2 more of these to find. I've not heard a bad word about them. Next up, I picked up Landline by Rainbow Rowell. Again, bright cover, caught my eye, and I just like the sound of this one. This one says, if you got a second chance at love, would you make the same call? What advice would you give the younger you, and would you listen? As far as time machines go, a magic telephone is pretty useless. TV writer Georgie McCool can't actually visit the past. All she can do is call it, and hope it picks up. Is she going crazy, or is this a chance to make things right with her husband, Neil? Maybe she can fix the things in their past that seem unfixable in the present. Maybe this stupid phone is giving her a chance to start over, if that's what she wants. This just sounded very different. I really liked the sound of that. I paid £1.50 for this. Next up, I found a copy of Harrow the Ninth, which is the second book after Gideon the Ninth. It's not in great condition and it didn't have a dust jacket, but this is the first time I've seen this book anywhere, and they are quite expensive to buy. Even the paperback's quite expensive. I paid £2.50 for this, so happy with that. The next few are some impulse buys because I don't even recognise one of them. I picked up I'm Not Scared by Niccolo Amaniti. This says sucks you in like the Blair Witch Project. One relentlessly hot summer, 6 children explore the scorched wheat fields that enclose their tiny community in the Italian countryside. But when the gang chances on a dilapidated and uninhabited farmhouse, a 9-year-old Michele Amitrano makes a discovery so momentous he dares not tell a soul. It is a secret that forces Michele to question all that surrounds him. I'm Not Scared is a devastatingly authentic portrayal of childhood, as well as a marvellous and unputdownable piece of storytelling. Acclaimed across the world, it introduces British readers to one of the most exciting new voices in contemporary fiction. I'm guessing this is another translated book. I like picking up translated books. This one cost £2. The next one I picked up is Falling Leaves by Adeline Yen Ma, the true story of an unwanted Chinese daughter. This one also cost £2. It says Adeline Yen Ma's childhood in China during the Civil War was a time of fear, isolation and humiliation. I think this is a memoir. The cause of this was not political upheaval, but systematic emotional and physical abuse by her stepmother and siblings, and rejection by her father. Falling Leaves is the story of a 50 younger daughter and her determination to survive the pain of a lonely childhood. Next up, I picked up The Sense of an Ending by Julia Barnes. This one cost me £1.50. It's a nice short one at 150 pages long. This one says Tony Webster and his clique first met Adrian Finn at school. Sex hungry and book hungry, they would navigate the girl-less sixth form together, trading in affections, in jokes, rumour and wit. Maybe Adrian was a little more serious than the others, certainly more intelligent, but they all swore to stay friends for life. Now Tony is retired, he's had a career and a single marriage, a calm divorce. He's certainly never tried to hurt anybody. Memory, though, is imperfect. It can always throw up surprises, as a lawyer's letter is about to prove. That synopsis just intrigued me. And then I also picked up Mrs. Death, Mrs. Death. I think I've had one person mention this before, and I don't think they said good things about it, but I figured I'd give it a try. I read the back of it, I liked the sound of it, and this one cost me £2, and it says, Mrs. Death has had enough. She's exhausted by her job and now seeks someone to unburden her conscience to. She meets Wolf, a troubled young writer who, enthralled by her stories, begins to write Mrs. Death's memoirs. As the two reflect on the losses they have experienced, their friendship flourishes. All the while, despite her world weariness, Death must continue to hold humans' fates in her hands, appearing in our lives when we least expect her. Next up, we found a hardback copy of Mardu by Alex Philby. I didn't actually read the inside of this. We actually just picked this up because we'd seen several people mention it. I actually have no idea what it's about, so let's find out. The synopsis says, God is dead, his corpse hidden in the catacombs underneath Mardu. In the slums of the sea-battered city, a young boy called Nathan Treves lives with his parents, eking out a meagre existence by picking treasures from the living mud and the half-formed, short-lived creatures it spawns. Until one day his desperate mother sells him to the mysterious master of Mardu. The master derives his magical power from feeding on the corpse of God. But Nathan, despite his fear and Lily's station, has his own strength, and it is greater than the master has ever known. Great enough to destroy everything the master has built, if only Nathan can discover how to use it. So it is that the master begins to scheme against him, and Nathan has to fight his way through the betrayals, secrets and vendettas of the city where God was murdered, and darkness reigns. Welcome to Mardu, the first in a monumental new trilogy. Okay, well, we have book 1 of this trilogy. I don't think 2 and 3 are out yet. First published in 2020. I'm gonna have to look up and find out if any more have come out. But this one cost us £2.49. I found another point horror book. This is a point horror collection number 2. I don't know if I already have this or not, but it was 50p, so I figured I'd pick it up just in case. This one contains My Secret Admirer, The Accident and Funhouse. If you don't know what these are, Point Horror was a collection of young adult horror books. I think it started in the 80s, and it has a variety of different authors who all came together and wrote individual stories for this collection, and I loved reading them as a teenager, and I just want them for nostalgia purposes. Next up, I found a copy of On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This one says, this is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family's history that began before he was born. It tells of Vietnam, of the lasting impact of war, and of his family's struggle to forge a new future. And it serves as a doorway into parts of Little Dog's life his mother has never known. Episodes of bewilderment, fear and passion, and all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I'm really excited to read this one. It's another short one. It's under 250 pages and I paid £2.49 for this one. I have duplicated again. This is what happens when you leave books in bags and don't unpack them and don't mark things off on your Goodreads. and then go shopping again. I have a hardback of Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. That one cost £2.49. And then finally, the last book for this haul, we have The Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Ozeki. I have never seen this cover before. This one just sounds really intriguing. It says, after his father dies, Benny O finds he can hear objects talking. Teapots, marbles and sharpened pencils, babbling in anger or distress. His mother, struggling to support their household alone, starts collecting things to give her comfort. Overwhelmed by the clamour of all the stuff, Benny seeks refuge in the beautiful silence of the public library. There the objects speak only in whispers. There he meets a homeless poet and a mesmerising young performance artist. There a book reaches out to him. Not just any book, his own book, and a very important conversation begins. The Book of Form and Emptiness is about grief, resilience, creativity and psychological difference. It is about the importance of reading and an observation of the mess consumer culture has got us into. It is an affirmation of the power of community. It is funny, kind, wise, urgent and completely irresistible. If you let it, if you listen, it could change your life. This just sounds like really interesting to me. And this one cost £2.49. Did you like the sound of any of the books I have mentioned? Let me know in the comments. You know what to do if you like the video. Please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you are a silent watcher, meaning you watch my videos but you never comment, how about you drop me a duck emoji in the comments just so that I know you're here, and I will see you next time. Point horror. Ooh.